If you're reliant on link insertions for your SEO strategy, then you might want to think again. Let me tell you why. But before we go on, don't forget to go to SEOJesus.com and sign up for my Ranking Revelations newsletter. And then down the bottom, if you like what you see when I show you these link building tactics, then you can always go to apply. We do generally expect a minimum budget of $2,000 per month and a long-term outlook. So at least 3 to 6 months, preferably 6 months to a year, but we do generally get very good results. Loads of case studies on my channel. Here's just one example of a software as a service client who got up to 70,000 monthly visitors just 6 weeks after starting with us. Very much the exception, not the rule, but our process does work very well. Not absolutely every time, but certainly a majority of the time. Here's another great example of a client, a course creator who started with us just over a year ago. Started from 0, and now they're just about to hit 30,000 visitors per month. Started with a domain rating of 0, and now have a domain rating of 30, which puts them in line with a lot of their competitors. And so for the next year or two, we're hoping to get them into the serious high hitters, the 50s, 60s, 70s, where they'll become a major player in that niche. So the application page is open. We do generally get quite full, but we do keep it open because if you're a good fit, we do like to accelerate that process. Otherwise, if you don't have that budget yet, scroll down to the bottom where we've got my membership coming up, where we'll have regular group coaching calls, and we've also got my one-to-one consulting. But now to get back to the point about link building, generally with outreach link building, there's 2 types of links you can build: guest posts and link insertions. Now notice I say link insertions rather than the more popular term of niche edits. And the reason I say that is for quite a simple distinction that traditionally speaking, in the more older, more advanced SEO community, niche edits actually refer to hacked links. And there's still networks out there where you can buy these hacked links very cheaply. So I've just identified one site, just a little parenting and mum blog. But if we look at the outgoing links in the Ahrefs Chrome extension, we scroll right to the bottom, we suddenly find all kinds of dodgy links that have just been slammed in. Now, these links are available for often just a couple of dollars. And what you'll generally find is when you go to buy links on Fiverr or these other big marketplaces, which gives people the idea that they can get these link insertions for $40, $50 or so. Quite often, not all of them, but a lot of these suppliers are actually just reselling these kinds of niche edits from marketplaces. So they go to the marketplace, they'll buy a hacked link for a couple of dollars and then resell that for $50. So if we come down here, we can see on this Innocent Mum blog, we've got Viagra Canada 100 milligrams. If I have a look at this investment management company, come to the bottom, we've got all these dodgy Russian links. Plus, a lot of these sites are just linking to each other on the same network. Now, these networks do advertise themselves as being voluntary. You can list your sites with them. But from my various SEO groups, there's always these talk and rumors that that's their sort of white hat front. And then on the back end, lots more going on. So even if you did go for these links, even if you bought the wholesale price, not the retail price, these sites are being really heavily abused. They're basically just PBNs. So it's a dangerous footprint, and you're probably not getting much power from that link anyway. So that's why I like to be really specific when I talk about link insertions from genuine outreach to real websites, actually talking to a human, not niche edits, which can be confused with these more suspicious marketplaces. Now, link insertions are the bread and butter of most agencies and most bloggers when they start out, because what you've got to realize is there's this weird disconnect where for someone to actually publish a guest post for you, you've got to go away and write it, which isn't so much a problem now with AI, but certainly 2 years ago, it was an extra cost you had to get. You had to have a writer producing content for websites that weren't even your own, but also the webmasters would often charge you a large publication fee. So some of us figured out that actually if you go back to that same webmaster and say, let's forget about the guest posts, what would it take just to insert a link in an existing article on your site? And often the price is much cheaper. And fact is, it's a great negotiation there where you say to them, literally, I'm giving you a 5-minute job to insert this link. I've been on the receiving end of guest posts before, and there's a lot back and forth. Often you're not happy with the quality of the content. If you do publish it, they then might come back with tweaks saying, can you change the title, remove the sponsored tag, things like that. So guest posting, in theory, is an easy way to make money with a website, but actually it can be a rabbit hole. So link insertions are just preferable for everyone involved. It's a 5-minute job, so why wouldn't you take just a handful of dollars? I say a handful of dollars. The price of these links insertions, the webmasters do know the value, so you can expect to spend well over $100 even for a link insertion. But the fact is they're a really good utility. So like I say, this is a strategy most agencies rely on. And if you're just starting out with link building, doing it yourself, then this is also a great tactic, but not one you should entirely rely on. So here's just one example. This is from my own personal brand website where I was trying to rank for SEO speaker, and we've given up on this campaign because I've now got enough inbound queries for speaking. My brand has risen up, so I don't really need to worry about ranking for SEO speaker anymore. It's just happening automatically, and I've got loads of speaking gigs coming up, so I'll be sure to let you know where you'll have a chance to come and see me in person. It'd be great to meet some of you. But for this campaign, we followed the exact same methodology as we use in the agency, where basically we're reaching out to sites scraped from competitors. So the top 10 of Google, as with everything else, you want to try and match the correlation of what's already ranking. So that includes the content. So when clients start with us, we always try and make sure your content of your key money pages is actually in line with the top 10 in Google. Google tells you what it wants from the on page. So if your page isn't optimized in the same way as the top 10, then the chances are you're not going to get the full ROI and the full benefit of those links. So that's why we include free content and free consulting with all our link building plans to make sure those links have the best impact they can. Once we've scraped all those competitors to get an idea of the types of links we want to build, we reach out to all these websites en masse. To do that, we look for a minimum traffic of 1,000 and a minimum DR of 30. But as you can see here, the average DR tends to be much higher. Typically, we average a DR of 55 from the linking site, and the traffic tends to be well above 1,000. It's very much a minimum. In that time, one of these has dropped down to 600 visitors per month. But generally, as you can see, we are well above that 1,000 threshold. The average is normally more like 10 to 15,000. Obviously, it depends on the niche, but those are the averages. This is the formula that has given us results like these. Just consistent, good quality content, consistently building links over time from good quality websites, and you'll get these fantastic results. 90% of SEO is just content and links. The extra 10% is that sort of technical and consulting element, which, like we say, we include that to make it a no-brainer for free with all our plans. So what is the basic methodology with link insertions? Well, once we've reached out to all these websites, we then screen them for quality. We've got a very long screening process where, for instance, we look at things like the traffic trends. Is it declining or is it growing? Is the traffic all coming from irrelevant sources? You can see this example. Also, the traffic is just coming from random stuff with high volumes. And in terms of trends, this traffic has completely dropped off. And the screenshot was taken a while ago. I've since checked back in, and this site has even been more penalized. So that's an instant red flag and decline for us. Let's have a look at the homepage and see, are they basically selling PBN links? If the homepage is full of essay writing services and casinos, then that's a good sign. This is a site that's going to get penalized. And often this is quite cleverly disguised as things like our partners, sponsorships, and things like that. Then we look at the backlink quality of the actual site itself. So you're basically inheriting your backlink power from the backlink power of the site that links to you. So where are those links coming from? We talk about minimum DR 30, average DR of about 55, but DR can be quite easily manipulated. And in this case, this news site had used this technique called exploits, where basically you can create a ton of redirects from all kinds of different websites, but one of the biggest ones is actually Google, where you can see each of these individual Google subdomains and locations. You can basically create a redirect, and that gives you a really high DR link to your site that does show up in Ahrefs and contributes to your DR metric. So this is the kind of thing you get if you go onto Fiverr and pay $50 to blow up your DR to 70 or whatever. So that's why anytime clients come back to me saying, our DR's not going up, we want to get to DR 6, I'm saying, well, yes, you do, but you'd want to do it in a sustainable manner that actually reflects in your traffic and revenue. If you just want to get up to DR 70, I can get you up to 70 within a week, but you won't be thanking me for it. We want to do it in a way that's safe, sustainable, and actually enhances your bottom line. Then we have Web 2.0 spam. Again, similar sort of process. You can use software to basically spam loads of subdomains to increase your DR that way. And then we can also get into redirects. As we know from the latest Google update, Google is really going after misusing expired domains. Supposedly they've been doing that for a long time, but they are stepping it up a notch. So what some sites will do, you can redirect expired domains to boost your DR. So 1 or 2 is generally okay. But what we can see in some cases is websites basically just collected together huge numbers of irrelevant expired domains and redirected them all into one, which looks great for the DR. So to the average agency, it's a high DR site with traffic. They'll buy those links, but in reality, those links are dangerous. And on the subject of dangerous links, people talk about right for us pages and guest post pages, things like that. Are they bad? Generally, I say no. However, some of them do include publicly listed pricing. So in this case, this was a backlink that one of my old corporate jobs got from a very high globally renowned agency, and it was very obvious on that site. You clicked on the guest post link, and it said, if you want a permanent post, it's £100. So absolute red flag. There's nothing wrong with buying links, but you need to make sure you're buying links from websites that are smart about it. If they make it really obvious we're selling links to anyone and everyone, then there's a problem. And the same goes for websites that publicly list a huge directory of all their different websites you can buy links from. Once we come up with this short list of relevant websites, scrape for our competitors, who also have really good metrics, genuine websites with traffic, with backlinks, and they're not linking out to a million different websites, then we know we've got a really good shortlist. So then we reach out and build a relationship with those websites. Because again, selling links is easy. Loads of people just want to throw up a site, or maybe they had a blog or a news site that's no longer making money, but they found they can make money by selling links. But of course, it's a two-way street. They could easily take your money, place the link, and then decide a month later to take down that link. So that's why we really focus on networking and relationship building. Of course, if we find a good quality website, we want to keep coming back to that website every single month, both for my projects, my clients' projects, and because of that, it's a two-way street. We want to make sure they don't mess us around, and to do that, we make sure we don't mess them around. So in order to get a link insertion, we just find a relevant page on that site, and then we reach out. We basically take a paragraph or lightly rewrite a new paragraph and include our link and anchor text. What is anchor text? It's the text of the link, and what we want to do is make sure that the anchor text is relevant to the page we are linking to. You can go a step further and analyze anchor text ratios, where you basically want to work out for the top 10 in Google for your keyword, what is the breakdown between keyword-rich anchor text, as in exact match and partial match, branded anchor text that just mentions the brand, and then generic anchor text, like click here, read more, etc. People will come up with different formulas for this. Generally, you want to look at what's ranking, but if you don't want to go that far, the safe bet is to basically just go with a measured approach where you just take a few words to describe what's on the page and don't use that same anchor text again. Keep on mixing it up. If you're just starting out, it's generally safest to start with brand name anchor text because, of course, if you're naturally acquiring links over time, generally the majority of natural links when a blogger links to you tend to be your brand name, not the product you're promoting. But of course, you can combine both. Here I've got brand name anchor text with my keyword anchor text of SEO speaker. So this is literally how link building with link insertions works. You basically rewrite a paragraph, include your link, and you very politely ask if the webmaster will insert it for you. And the result is you get a pretty good quality link in a page that's already aged and relevant for that topic. So we see my link in here. The downside is you'll probably have other people inserting their links on there. So if we come down here, we've got Outreach Monks on the same page. So a couple of links isn't really too bad, but there is an argument that too many links on the page will basically split the power of that link. So that's one thing you need to bear in mind. But generally, this is an easy way to build up a lot of good quality links. So you can see all these links from this particular campaign are all triggering that best link filter, all with unique but very similar anchor text, combining SEO speaker with Stuart Vickers, the brand name. So I'd say this is a pretty aggressive link building campaign, but not a problem. It all depends on the nuances of that particular campaign. Don't forget, you also want a healthy mix of inner page links to homepage links, because like the brand name anchor text thing, the majority of websites linking to you naturally will be linking to your homepage. So if you're just starting out and you're starting building all your links to your product page, trying to rank that, then that could look a bit suspicious to Google. You want a very natural link profile where you've got brand name anchor text links linking to your homepage and some linking to your inner page. Whereas if you go hard and put exact match anchor text all to your inner page, your product page, and none to your homepage, then that looks a bit suspicious and that could result in a penalty. But going back to the whole point of this video, what is the problem with link insertions that you need to watch out for? Now, I say this being nuanced. I'm always saying I am against absolutes in SEO, where, especially on Facebook and Twitter, people will be going on about saying, you can't do this and you can't do that. I then go and do the thing and make a load of money. So beware of dogma. No one is saying that link insertions don't work and they won't continue to work. However, I'd be careful about relying on them entirely because there's a really big footprint here. The argument for niche edits or link insertions like this is that it's perfectly normal for a blogger to update their article and insert a few new links, but it is rare. And I think this is the problem we've got to watch, that if 100% of your links are coming from blogs which have been updated and had your link added, then that would not be difficult for Google to notice and filter out. So let's imagine a future Google update. We've seen a wave of recent updates which has severely affected the SEO industry, and it generally comes from one specific signal that's been overexploited. So for instance, the latest one has gone after mass-generated AI content. It doesn't seem to be that successful in that, but we do know that Google is not liking this so-called scaled content. So because of that, we've got to focus more and more on creating valuable content. We can still use the AI, but we need to go a step further to disguise that footprint, make each article slightly more unique, just 10, 20% better than the majority of people who are just abusing the AIs. And it's the same thing with link building. If you rely entirely on link insertions, then you're creating a massive footprint. Now, the answer is really quite simple. The problem is a lot of agencies rely entirely on link insertions, or brands will rely entirely on link insertions, and then you're just building that footprint bigger and bigger, which so far is not a problem. But how far are we from that crucial Google update that could completely disrupt that industry? So the key thing is link diversity. So I've said before that when you first start a website, I like to go for a mix of citations, which are listings in local business directories, and a press release. Now what this does is it already gives you this massive array of backlinks, which are all perfectly legitimate. Listings in local business directories and a press release are completely normal. It's fine for a website to start out that way. And what that therefore means is if you then start the link insertion campaign, then your link insertions make up a very small percentage of your overall link profile. The citations and press releases are good, but they don't have a lot of power. They're very much about volume and scale, whereas your link insertions, these provide the really powerful links that will actually move the needle for you and give you really good keyword movements. So by layering up these different tactics, citations, press release, link insertions, you are diluting the emphasis on link insertions while still getting the full benefit. Not forgetting that your citations and your press release will generally have a lot of brand name anchor text to your homepage. So once again, you're creating like this pillow effect where basically you've already got this really good, healthy, safe link profile that's branded, goes to the homepage. A lot of it's no follow as well. So as you start introducing these powerful link insertions, you're not going to trigger any filters that are setting alarm bells off, saying this website is entirely link insertions. But there's another step further that you can do, and that's going back to guest posting effectively. But in the agency, we like to go beyond that. Rather than just do normal guest posting, if you're trying to promote your brand and you just want to get powerful backlinks and you're contributing these guest posts, why would you make do with this simple generic guest post that says 5 tips on how to achieve X, and you just happen to drop your link in there somewhere? Why not go a step further? You're already negotiating this placement, so the chances are you should be allowed a little bit of leeway in terms of being promotional. So there's 2 steps we like to take with our guest posts. One is basically PR style. We like to talk about our guest posts as being more PR orientated. We specifically go to our writers and our AI tools and basically say, you are a journalist, you are a PR expert, and we want to write a news feature that basically promotes your brand and is optimized for the target keyword so that anyone coming across this article will find that this blogger, this journalist, has personally taken it upon themselves to actually write a news feature about this brand. So that looks a lot better for the human element, but also it disguises the footprint. It makes it look much more like you've done a natural PR campaign, or even better, these bloggers have just taken it upon themselves to actually write about you. And with those PR style guest posts, we'll generally write them in a tool like Surfer, where not only will it read like a news article, but we'll also actually optimize it for the keyword in line with the top 10 of Google. And that basically means that guest posts should actually rank on Google for your target keywords, which therefore means your links become much more powerful. You can even parasite SEO Google with your own guest posts, because you're building up this network of news articles about your brand that are optimized for your target keyword. And they are going on powerful websites, 50, and can therefore actually rank for your target keyword, sending more power through to your link. Whereas with link insertions like this, you can see right now in this example that these articles we've inserted links on are not actually ranking for any keywords. So they're still being indexed, they're still being crawled and passing power to your site. You're still getting the benefit of that high DR and the domain traffic, but it's not as powerful as if you wrote a fresh blog post fully optimized for the keywords that ranks for keywords and therefore passes much more power to your site. So if I just take an example of one of the client case studies I showed you in the beginning, they've had this process done for them. That's how they've got up to that 30,000 visitors per month within a year. So if I just take the links we've built for them, drop them into an Ahrefs batch analysis, we can see not only do we have these really powerful high DR links, 53, 73, 77, 63, 54. Like I say, our minimum of DR30 is just a minimum, but we've also got all these keywords ranking. So not currently getting traffic, but a significant number of commercial keywords ranking. And that's what really matters. That shows that Google trusts and respects this page enough to actually get it ranking for keywords. Not very high, but it's a very good start. And therefore, not only do they have the power of the DR, they've also got the power of the rankings. So link insertions like this, absolutely brilliant. I highly recommend them, but don't rely on them as your only strategy. Layer them in, maybe somewhere between 20 and 40%. Mix in some other tactics like your press release and your citations, but also get some optimized guest posts in there, not only for power, but also to diversify and hedge your risk and show to Google you've got this rich, broad profile of all kinds of different links, not just a single strategy.